vamos a pasar a la segunda parte de las entrevistas. Yo tengo la suerte de entrevistar hoy a un amigo y a un referente también del ecosistema tecnológico y de innovación de Israel, que es Micha Jesselson. Me imagino que estáis preparando ya la conexión. Micha es alguien al que conozco desde hace... Micha.
Yes, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Welcome to Murcia. Welcome to Spain. And in this nice virtual setting, I was just about to introduce you. Como os habéis dado cuenta, va a ser en inglés esta parte. Because Micha doesn't speak Spanish yet.
Yet.
Although he's trying, está intentando de manera continua a través de sus viajes a España. He loves to come to Spain. And we'll talk about that also in a second. I was just about to mention how we met over the years. And I want to say it publicly because I think it's important how things unravel over time. I'll say it in Spanish, and maybe you'll try to catch the gist of this. Yo tuve la suerte de conocer a Micha hace aproximadamente 7 años. Micha es, por una parte, un emprendedor en serie, pero por otra parte también tiene una enorme responsabilidad, que es que él lidera el family office de su familia, lo que es una responsabilidad muy grande porque al final tiene a diferentes miembros de su familia, incluidos sus hermanos, que tienen sus ahorros puestos en manos de Micha y que básicamente tiene que tomar decisiones importantes hacia el futuro de sus hermanos, de sus sobrinos, de la familia, seguir una saga familiar que ha sido muy importante y que ahora hablaremos también de ello. Y este joven israelí, muy echado para adelante, que no teme a nada, es realmente para mí el tipo de ejemplo que queremos tener en Zakut, ¿no? Que tiene esa fuerza y esa chutzpah, pero por otra parte también un apego a la excelencia, ¿no? Por lo tanto, I was just starting to say certain things about you, and I'll continue now in English. I'll want to mention also the fact that you come indeed from a saga of amazing businessmen and also philanthropists, because in the Jewish tradition, it's very nice to do well and to have businesses and to have an impact in the economy, because that's all very positive. But you're virtually no one if you're not philanthropic. And in the Jewish world, you are what you give. And I want to say that the Jesselsons are an example within the Jewish world of incredible philanthropy. I think that, we can only say that it originates from your late grandparents, Ludwig and Erika, whom my parents had the privilege of meeting years ago in New York. Your grandfather was the chairman and the force within an incredible group called Philip Brothers, which was at a certain moment the world's #1 trading company. The world's #1 trading company. And the chairman and a very large shareholder was Ludwig Jesselson, who was a migrant to the United States from Germany, as was his wife. And they really changed the landscape of New York business and philanthropy, and they did incredible things in the world. And as Zionist Jews, they had a very strong tie to the state of Israel, and they were among the builders of the modern Jewish state. So I wanted to acknowledge this, Micha, because your grandparents were amazing, your father, your uncles, they're all incredible forces of that legacy, and I am very proud to have you as a friend and to see what you're doing also personally for Israel, and how you, even though you come from this saga, have had the determination of being a regular Israeli and serving in the army. So I want to start about yourself, and we'll delve right into what you guys do in terms of business. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, about your wife, your kids, your background, just something so that they get a sense of who Micha Jesselson really is.
Yes. So David, thank you so much for hosting me here. I'm very sorry I can't speak Spanish. I love language. As you know, I've traveled a
¿Qué
lot.
tal, Valle? ¿Cómo estás?
No, no, no. Hold on just a second, because there's a mixture of sounds here. Please continue, Micha.
So as you know, I've done the Camino de Santiago, and I'm very a big fan of Spain, and I'm really proud of what you're doing, David. It's amazing to bring innovation together with Israel, together with Spain. I myself am married. I'm speaking to you out of my home here in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv has gone 100% back to business as usual. Very happy here. We have a very good group of investors working together, mainly family offices who really care about doing good business together. And David and I have had the privilege to do some things together, but I actually want, because of the time, to jump right in what we're doing since 2015 in the world of food tech, food technology, and agriculture technology.
Perfect.
We have been building a portfolio since 2015, trying to invest the best entrepreneurs and in the best companies that are trying to solve one of the biggest problems, and I think, David, you can relate to me, of the world, which is how do we secure the world with the best food and with the most healthiest food? And how do we make sure that humankind is much better to the land? And after World War II, humankind has destroyed lots of its land and has done not so well with keeping the world a healthier place for our children. And now we have the privilege to work together, David. And I want to hear maybe what are your thoughts about how we can do it, to join forces and to find the right entrepreneurs and the right companies to invest together and build amazing companies. So I'll just, in 3 seconds, we have been investing in protein, chickpea protein, reduction of sugar, new ways of fermentation. The last amazing investment we did is in the company called Blue and White Robotics. Does a platform for automatic solutions for farmers with an automatic tractor, that the tractor does not need a driver, with drones, special AI for seed. So David, we are in this, and I want to hear from you. How can we take the chutzpah that you have and Zakut together and make something big?
Well, I think that the first step is exactly what you're doing right now, which is people should know at the very levels of institutions and companies and as people, what is happening in Israel, what is this miracle out of a very small country. It's only twice the landmass of the region of Murcia. It's the equivalent of the region of Galicia here in Spain.
Great wine, great wine in Galicia.
Great wine, absolutely, absolutely. We do have great wine here, and in Israel you're starting to have great wine also, so that's something that the Israelis can learn from other parts of the world. One of the things that people think is that, you know, we're coming to teach things here from Israel. And the truth is that learning is always a bidirectional element. And what I like about the Israelis is this can-do mentality. And here in Spain, we're good at improvisation also, but you know, there's a whole set of characteristics of Spain that are very, very important to be also developed in other places. You know, in the northern markets, they don't have necessarily the same value about the relationships. And before you, there was a speaker, Luis Alvarez, who spoke about credibility. And when you establish a relationship, it's all about the credibility that you establish. It's all about building bridges and knowing that you can count on somebody. And if people respect their reputation, things are much easier. You create very strong networks. And these are things that we can learn also from Mediterranean societies like the Spanish one. No? But I'd like to go back to what you were discussing before about food tech, for example, because if not, I know my wife, who's very, very keen on this incredible changing world, will blame me if I'm not asking you these questions. So here in Murcia, you have great food tech companies, companies that have been establishing real empires in terms of production. They're very strong in distribution. And some of them are vertically integrated. And what I would like to do is, I would like to establish a system with Zakut, starting in other vehicles that you have in the region of Murcia, in order to make sure that there is a constant flow of this information about the developments, because obviously developments are not static. And we just need to make sure that the Israeli firms come and settle in Europe through Spain and through Murcia, because it makes all the sense that you would establish yourself in the clusters that have already people prepared and experience in a whole set of elements. So the question to you is, when are you settling some of your companies in Murcia? That's the big question.
So David, it's a very good question, and since you've been curious and been asking me what is this food tech and ag tech you guys are doing in Israel, I think you and I have developed a relationship where I don't think the question is if we will come to Murcia. The only question is when will we come to Murcia? And I know you have a lot of important people here in the crowd, and I want them to hear very, very clear. As long as there is innovation in Murcia, we will be there. As long as there's creativity, as long as they're young people, hardworking, I think there's a huge place for women here to be leaders here. They are the mothers of the home. They know what we eat. They know what we need, have that feeling. And we will be there. We will send our teams there. We have Mariana here with me on the Zoom. She's been aggregating all the food and ag tech. I think we've seen close to 1,000 companies since we started this food fund. And we are going to do things together. And my wife is going to give birth in a month, so I can't be there with you. But I promise you, once my wife says it's okay to come, we will come to Murcia, our team. We will sit down and we will start making sure that our companies look at Murcia as an economy play for them. And not just say, okay, we have an amazing company, now we're going to the United States. We have an amazing company, 4-hour flight from us, we can do business with Murcia. And I know that you have some important people from the EU here in the crowd, and I want to tell them, we will do it. The Israeli government is always open-minded to do business with any country, and we know how to do it. We know how to push it. As I said, David, when, not if.
That sounds great. Picking up on what you said about EU, there are programs that the EU has, of course, with Israel also, and that we can combine in Murcia itself. I think that could be a great way of doing a triumvirate, which is both regional, national, and supranational. So I think that that's a way to go. So taking that into account, I would like to thank you, Micha, for the time that you've started to take into coming in this morning with us. To invite you, of course, to attend the next sessions. There's going to be throughout the year a lot of moments where the young developers and entrepreneurs are going to have a chance to meet a lot of successful Israelis, to understand that secret sauce. And just to finish off on a message that Luis Alvarez gave before, and that I think is important in terms of success. Sometimes success comes simply by looking at the right stuff. If you keep your horizon clear enough and you're looking at the right metrics, success comes naturally if you're diligent. And one of the things that I like about Murcia is that it doesn't have unnecessary distractions regarding who it is. That's one of the things that I like about this place, because in some countries, as we get developed, we start asking ourselves who we are, what should we do, this and that. This is Spain. This is an area of Spain that is not questioning its own identity, where it's going. People are entrepreneurial by nature. If you leave a Murciano somewhere, he's going to be developing things. It comes from a Jewish and Phoenician culture, and that is part of this magnificent culture. And that's why the similarities are going to be definitely be shown over the next weeks, months, and years. So thank you very much, Micha.
Thank you.
And be'azlacha and a lot of health for the future baby.
Perfect.
God willing, and to your wife and to your 2 kids. And we'll see you in Murcia very, very soon.
And I just want to say to the crowd that one of the secret sauces in Israel is that everybody is approachable. Anybody that would want to reach out to us, we are always ready to listen. David, thank you, and have a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bueno, y con esto concluimos esta mini breve